co-brother
I'll let
is 26.
Yeah, feeling we're actually missing a co-brother. There's a third co-brother that I don't know if he's ready for this stage just yet, but he's not far
Thank you,
from
first
it.
rack. Chung
We'll
to
see
break.
Chung to open, breaking from his right side rail. And as Carl alluded to early, well, at first, he commented that the Taiwanese are the best, Chinese Taipei players are the best in the world. As a whole, I couldn't disagree, really. I think they're the best trained players as well.
Which makes it all the more surprising. A player from Chinese Taipei has never won this event.
Well, that shows you the class. I mean, if we had to take, 6 or 7 players from each country, I think you would see a different outcome. But when it comes to the elite, I think there's many countries that compete. Funny little shot here to open. Just got to dodge the side pocket. Yeah. Easy to overcut that ball, especially in the first rack, it seems. Our first look at Ko Ping Yi, former world 9-ball champion.
He's a really class act. He won that World 9-ball championship in 2015 when he defeated Shane Van Boening in the final. At the most recent World Championship, though, only last month, Van Boening beat 11-8 in the last 16. That match was notable for the fact that Van Boening had a couple of golden breaks in consecutive racks.
Yeah, and that was such a huge match after that comeback win against Eminem. Sometimes you have such a big match like that, it's easy to falter a little bit in the next, and I thought that was kind of the match that set the tone for the tournament. Yumika's match was one we'll never forget. And we'll see the Iceman later in the session. Well, he's made a quality shot on the 4 to get on the 5, so nice start here for Ko Ping Yi.
The mistake was made by his younger brother. Ko Ping Yi did the rest. That was a pretty solid start.
Yeah, very solid. And I mean, it was an opening miss there from Ko Ping Chung, but to me, knowing these two is, I don't know them as well as some, but they look very comfortable to me, Phil.
Indeed. Now, this is the format. It's 16 unseeded players playing off in what we call the first round, the preliminary. They come up against 8 seeded players in the second round, which is the last 16. All matches this week are a race to 7, which in pool terms at this level is most certainly a sprint, apart from the final, which is a race to 9. All matches are winner break, so you can get on a roll. Jason Shaw told me last night after his match he was convinced someone would break and run out every single rack in a match this week. We will see if Jason is correct.
Well, I couldn't disagree too much. I mean, a lot of good things have to happen, of course, but you can see the table's breaking nice, and these are 24 of the best in the world. Big kiss on the cue ball there. I think he played a little bit of a cut break on purpose, but I don't know if I would stick with that. It seems like the balls are breaking great head on, and you can see him glancing off the left side. Always worries me with the cue ball. Got a little bit of a tricky shot here to get on the 3 just because of the 5 up table. This may get on top of the 6. Looks like he may play the cue ball between the 8-9, or may come across. I kind of like just kill between the 8-9. That gives you plenty of angle on the 4 to get to the 5. Is that going to go? That's close. He looks pretty happy with it. Now here's a choice. He can come 1 rail between the 6-9, or he can come 2 rails with a little side spin. Oh, this is going to hurt. And this is a huge mistake from someone who just doesn't make these types of mistakes.
Extension.
Extension, please.
No, Coping jumps the ball great, so I would, ooh, lefty? Wow. Big stretch here for the young man. More of a darting effect here. Wow, he landed on top of it. That's why he got so much draw on the cue ball.
It's a 30-second shot clock, and all of this screwing and unscrewing his cue is taking quite some time. And look where he's finished.
Yeah, he's going to put some steam this one. Try and fluke it in, maybe up in the corner. Pretty solid hit on the black 8, but it's going to give up a shot to his younger brother, Chung. So a chance to remedy that first mistake in game 1.
Chung wins the rack.
So one mistake from each player in the racks we've seen thus far, and the last mistake from Coping enables his sibling to equalise. It's 1-1. Good match this is going to be, no doubt about that, and a very unique dynamic. So Chung, 26 years of age, he was world junior champion in 2013. He's also a world 10-ball champion in 2019, and he won the US Open 8-ball in 2014, so a very versatile pool player. But one has to say that in terms of career CV, that of his brother Coping is somewhat superior. He's won so many titles over the years, nicknamed the Prince of Pool. His 9-ball ranking is 17th, 32 years of age now, so he's in the prime of his career. And as we said, he was the world 9-ball champion in 2015. He's also won events like the China Open, the All Japan Championship. And in 2015, when he won that world 9-ball, he was named Billiards Digest Player of the Year, which is a real honour.
Yes, it is. And deservedly so. And talk about just how hard it is to win here in professional 9-ball. But these guys seem to put titles together, and got to expect a lot from Chung here in the next 10 years. 26 years old, always improving. Of course, spars with one of the best players in the world constantly. That doesn't hurt. Opening shot here on the 1. Oh yeah, that's a bad miss though for him. You can see him kind of move the arm a little bit there.
It also seemed to decelerate on the shot a little, and that's why he overcut it.
Yeah, and that's the common mistake with the best players. I always relate it to golf. You know, when the nerves are high and I don't get the putts to the hole, some of the players, right? A little bit of a let up. Great shot there. He's going to need a little bump. Perfect. And it is a weird dynamic, of course, playing your brother. I know a little bit about that in a different manner. We used to travel the country, usually with another player, and you go to a 200-player field and you happen to draw the guy you're traveling with, and These two are always together. One good thing is they gotta, one's gonna advance, right? It's always a good feeling. He's gotten a little out of line, a little light with the cue ball here, so he's gonna have to elevate the cue, I believe.
Extension.
Extension, please.
Now, I don't know if he'll stun this more or draw the ball, but if he stuns it, watch out for the 9. Looks like he's going to try and put more draw stroke. And he's going to fall underneath this 6 a bit. Got to be with the stroke overall, but not so much with the results on the cue ball. This has got to be flirting with the side pocket a bit, the cue ball. That's the side I thought about, but
Foul.
wow.
Ball in hand.
I think he was going to be snookered anyways behind the 9, but pretty
Start the
bad
clock,
roll
please.
there on such a nice cut shot on the 6.
Yeah, that was undeserved, wasn't it? And for the second consecutive rack, his younger brother gets an 8 and 9 ball gift.
Ko Ping Chung wins the rack.
Ko Ping Yi might have seniority, but it's Ko Ping Chung who has superiority, at least. Early days, it is 2-1 to the younger man. The latest port of call for world-class pool is Gibraltar. This is Ocean Village, and this is the Europa Point Sports Complex, home of the 2022 World Pool Masters. We are finishing off first round in this session. Coming up, Hecklin Kachi against Denis Akolio, Abdullah Al-Yusuf against Niels Feijen, and Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz against Mika Immonen. Now, though, we're concentrating on the battle of the brothers.
Thank you, rack 4. Coping Chung to break.
Well, he kept control, and wow, that'll show you the 4-inch pocket right there. And the deep shelves here on this Son.
Yes, you might have assumed any kind of contact there would have just coaxed the 7-ball in, but no.
And I don't, of course, upset with the result, but I don't think he's too unhappy with the execution. He's going to draw this ball maybe off the 6.
Extension,
That's a
please.
funny shot. Not so much pocketing the 1, obviously, but trying to gain position on the 2. I don't know if he can get thin enough on the 6 to really move the cue ball much. Now, this is the difference, I think, in the winter break format. Sometimes you'll see the players stay aggressive in situations like this rather than play the safety, just because the players can jump, kick the ball so well, and then sit you in your chair behind it.
So really, that was a little loose. I think he should have obtained the hook. But the cue ball has come out and left Ko Ping Chung a clear shot. Not an easy shot, but a clear one.
Yeah, but one that can do a lot for your confidence. Pretty sweet stroke. He kind of hit a little high on the cue ball, though. That was a much better stroke. A lot more calm through delivery. And now looking to take a 2-game lead. Should just clip this in, and I wouldn't really involve the second rail. I don't really see the point. Just come one rail, but he's going to come a couple rails. He may land on the rail with the cue ball. Got to stay steady here. Oh, watch out. Watch out. His brother gave him a couple gifts, and he has returned the favor.
Foul.
And I think that's a result of the 7-ball, a little bit more than the mistake there on the 8.
Start the clock, please.
Moved the cue ball 3 rails and landed on the rail a little flat.
Coping E wins the rack.
Put a lot more into the cue ball getting from the 9.
Thanks.
We've seen a hat-trick of very unconventional finishes to racks. The sum and substance of it is that these two are now, as you might expect for brothers, inseparable. It is 2-2. So the winner of this match will play David Al-Kadi in the last 16. And talking of David Al-Kadi, he features heavily on the World Pool Masters run, certainly in recent years, and he's won both of his titles right here in Gibraltar, over at the Victoria Stadium in 2019 and again in 2017. What an achievement it is to win this event on more than one occasion. Niels Feijen has done it. We'll see him later on this afternoon. And of course, we're all waiting to see the return to action of the newly crowned World 9-ball champion, Shane van Boening. He won his titles back-to-back in 2014 and 15 in Nottingham and Manchester, England.
Yeah, I actually saw
Coping E to
Shane
break.
On the hill walking
2 racks each.
back to the hotel, getting his exercise in. Okay, away from the cut break there, a lot more solid break, and I think that's the ticket here in Gibraltar this week. It's falling really funny on a shot that he's awfully close to, but anytime the cue ball's near the rail and you deal with a little angle, very hard to kind of work the cue ball into position. I guess he's going into a piece of the 4. Not really sure where position on. Oh, he's playing a safety now, it looks like. Nice shot. And he's produced the 3 in the corner. Easy position on 4.
Well, I must say, Jeremy, I am very surprised. For someone of his quality and status, that was a straightforward shot.
Yeah, and I think the interview said that they've never played each other before in tournament competitions, so maybe a little psyche going on for the elder brother. I think he's just got to try to play a soft safety of some sort. Can't really guarantee like a lockdown safety of any kind. I don't think, anyways. He's not going to like the result here in a moment. His brother should stitch him up on the purple 5 here. Just got to make sure he doesn't pocket a ball, like go into the 7 maybe, or the 3 in the upper corner. Okay, he kept it short, and this is a big miss hit as well.
We're seeing lots of loose pool, and from these two, you just don't expect it.
No, that's not their character, that's for sure. They're very, very tidy players, along with, great skills. And I'm not sure where he's going to go here.
Extension, please.
I don't think he can hold position pocketing the 3 in one of the upper corners. I don't think he can get around table either, so. Does the bank go by the 9? That's what I would look at. Oh, he's playing the chip safety. Not bad. And here's where you can play a couple different shots. I kind of like moving the 3 here myself. If you edge the 3, you could easily sell out. You got to take advantage of the 4 being way back up table. Just knock the 3 around table. Yeah, like that. Well, he's put the 4 in play a bit, though. So if this 3 gets up, you may go for this cut shot. Don't really see much of anything else, really. Thought the safety was difficult.
Yet to catch fire this match in terms of standard. Lots and lots of errors being made of all descriptions.
Couldn't agree more, Phil. And here, I don't think it's the 4-inch pockets. The Chinese Taipei players, that's a very common thing in the pool clubs back home, is the smaller pockets. But the side pockets have really a demon, really, for Ko Ping Yi in this match so far.
Yeah, I think it's the psychological barrier, isn't it, of playing your brother. Not in any environment, any circumstance, let alone
Extension,
on a
please.
world stage like this.
Well, he's looking at cutting this 4 ball, and I don't really see much of guaranteed shape. I think I'd try to come off the left side of the cue ball behind the 9. You could use 2 rails, 3 rails, maybe even 4 rails to come behind the 9. Well, that may bleed towards the corner. I think that was the right shot, but again, the timing is off, Phil.
Well, it's perhaps just as well that Jason has decided to go home for a while, because if he's watching this, he might be thinking, why didn't my opponent do this against me?
Well, if we do talk about the 4-inch pockets, I've always believed the guy who can stay loose. Don't worry about accuracy so much. You stay accurate when you're loose. A little bit of fortune there. And Fortunsky certainly did that last night.
Six missed pots so far, and we're still trying to determine what's going to happen in rack 5.
Oh, that same side pocket has killed Koping so far. Speaking of Fortunsky, he's in the crowd sweating this match. So I think it'll be a total of 8 pocketed balls for Koping Chung to get 3 games on the board. Ball in hand with an 8 and 9. Another ball in hand with 8 and 9. Now ball in hand with just 4 left, and way out of line with ball in hand here. This has definitely got to be a little scological, what's going on here in our first match. Nice recovery.
Koping Chung wins the rack.
So there it is. Koping Chung again hits the front. This is a match full of errors and twists and turns, momentum shifts all over the place. But it's the younger man who right now just about finds himself in the ascendancy. And I think it's fair to say, Jeremy, it's not the match we anticipated yet.
Yeah, very much so, Phil. And I think these guys will improve as the match goes. It's almost hard not to, right? But definitely 2 of the most solid players in the game.
It's amazing how the cue ball has been almost magnetized into a pocket for Koping. He potted some reasonable balls in this match, but just when he needed a little touch of luck, he got some misfortune, and that essentially was the end of the rack.
Yeah, you could even see there in the replay from Koping Chung, a little uncomfortable with a simple 9 ball. Not that it was ever going to get missed, but still kind of came up off the ball a little earlier than he normally does. Still got to settle in. He's got to like the way he's breaking them, though. I know this cue ball got kissed back a little bit, but he's putting the 1 over the corner a lot.
And that really is a firm foundation for success. If you know you're breaking well and you're breaking efficiently, then you can tidy things up and be a real force.
Yeah, you can certainly overcome a mistake or 2. I think he just feathers this 1 ball here and comes back and tries to use the 6. Is he trying to move the 1 long ways? Speeds off again, I think. I like the choice, though, actually. There was 2 different ways you could play that, moving the 1 down table or just simply up the rail.
Koping Chung has been on the radar for quite some time. Remarkably, when he was only 15 years of age, he reached the final of the All Japan Open, losing out to German great Thorsten Hohmann. But to reach the final of that at 15, that really made people sit up and pay attention.
Yeah, always a class field there in Osaka for the All Japan Championships. And if you look at the cast of characters that have won it, really always been a quality event. Kicking across here. He'd love to have the 2-rail angle, maybe 3-rail angle, but it looks like the 2's maybe in the way. Oh no, he does have it. Beauty.
By the way, Jeremy, these two have played each other on a big occasion before. February 2015. It was the WPA World 10 Ball Championship. They met in the semi-finals. Ko Pin-Yi prevailed, went on to win the event.
Well, let's say it's been a while then, right? And it'll happen again, that's for sure.
I think it's one of those situations, isn't it? No matter how many times it happens, it still feels alien and not quite right. I suppose the analogy would be when Serena and Venus Williams were playing each other in singles tennis. And they met on many occasions, didn't they?
Yeah, it was an interesting relationship in that regard for those two ladies. Serena, of course, took her a while to become the better player over Venus. All right, I don't know if he's going to go for the make here or not. Maybe just knock the one around. He did go for the make. Did knock the one around. He may get a little lucky here. His brother will pull out the jump cue as well. And I have an older brother and a younger brother that are both competitors, and maybe there's nothing more competitive than between brothers, right? A nice shot there. And I like it that he kept it simple. I mean, if he's feeling better, maybe he tries to dig on the cue ball, get a little closer to the 2, but you know, the way this match has gone, it's going to be the guy who ends up solid here in the last half of the match that takes it down. Doesn't have to be extravagant.
Well, he was putting his bridge hand in an uncomfortable place there over the pocket, so that was a really good pass.
Yeah, he delivered a nice stroke there, aggressive stroke. He's gotten a hair thinner on this 4 than he wants, and it's not a big deal overall. He's just got to, you know, capture the speed here a little bit. And that camera angle tells me it's even thinner than I thought. And I think that was a choice of not wanting to hit a ball in a delicate manner. And I couldn't agree more, actually. Nice natural angle to come 1 rail down for the 9 in the side. Take a 2-game lead.
It is day 2 of the
Thank you, rack
2022 World Pool Masters.
Coping Chung to break, leading 4 racks to 2.
To get the action underway, it's a first-round match between two players from Chinese Taipei. Two players from the same family, two brothers. Coping Chung, who's 4-2 up on Coping Yi.
Yeah, and definitely playing a designed firm cut break on the one there, trying to dress the one up over the corner, and he's in a great spot now with the 2 near. Easy position, just got to gain a little 2 to get to the 3. Everything else pretty open. Looks like he maybe wants to draw the cue ball back an inch or 2 maybe. Now here's a decision. This is all about how he wants to get on the 4. Probably just comes one rail straight down the middle of the table. Gaining a little angle on the 3 just to move the cue ball easily. That one's gone a little thinner than he wanted, and probably a little further away from the 3 than he wanted. I probably let the stroke out a little bit here, Phil, and come, you know, bottom rail, side rail, back up to the top rail with the cue ball, and then back up for the 4. Don't like floating this one so much. It's going to go around the 4 rails. He's going to love this. Oh, you got a little bump. Good thing is he's close enough to it. He should manage the cue ball pretty easily. Should be able to hold it up with a little draw stroke.
Extension.
Extension, please.
Maybe he follows his ball between the side pocket. Yeah, that's what he's going to do, between the side and the 5 ball. And he's overcut that by margin.
And just when you think one of the players is gaining some kind of authority on the match, stuff like that happens. Now, that was a massive misjudgment.
Yeah, he really had his eye on the cue ball path and try to help the cue ball a little bit. And this is almost going to get a little funny.
It's a recurring pattern, this. So often a player has been in charge of a rack, makes a mistake, and then the other brother steps in to apply the finishing touch.
Yeah, all the great sports, it's like that sometimes. Like we talked about Jason Shaw last night, missing 1 ball. Really played
He wins the rack.
excellent match when he got to play and got defeated. And then sometimes you play a very so-so match and get through somehow.
Yes, we saw another mistake there that could lead to be a turning point, because it appeared as though Coping Chung was in command of the rack, and then all of a sudden the ball was missed, and but for someone like Coping Yi, well within his capabilities. I think one of the great negatives over the COVID-19 pandemic has been the fact that we haven't seen an awful lot of the players from Chinese play, but now they're coming back into international competition, and that's got to be a good thing.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, not only for them, but for the rest of the players. You don't No, you win a title, right? You don't want to be missing out. Some players that weren't there. It just makes the event more quality. And is this our first? No, he did get a ball down. He's going to have a nice look at the one. There for a moment, I thought it was our first dry break of the event.
If you watch these balls, there was uncertainty about whether he was going to be able to see enough of the one, and then the 7 just came and nudged it at the last gasp.
And I think we might have our first break and run. I know it's a long ways from it, but you got to figure that Ko Ping Yee's going to settle in. But it's been a variety of things, not just some missed balls from Ko Ping Yee, but a uncharacteristic cue ball at times.
Yes, he won the first rack reasonably well. Looked like winning the second also. Snookered himself. Had to play a jump shot. That was successful, but it led to another snooker. He left the 8. Ko Ping Chung potted 8 and 9. And ever since, Ko Ping Yee has been fighting for some fluency.
Watch out. And that one's a little alarming as well. You could see a little scratch of the head. Almost overcut that 3 ball. Well, that's more of the stroke that I'm used to seeing from this young man, and should make it to where he ties this match at 4.
Yeah, when the 5 ball goes down, they've both potted an equal amount of balls. Better, just better.
Ko Ping Yee wins the rack.
So this contest started out as best of 13 racks, a race to 7. Now it's been reduced to best of 5. You have to make Ko Ping Yee favourite because he's starting to... And of course, he gets to break off in rack number 9. Ko Ping Yee will be, no doubt, prominent in many of these events. Next up for us, after the World Pool Masters concludes here on Sunday, it is the UK Open, the inaugural UK Open. Looking forward to this tremendously. 256 players, over 20 tables in operation at the Copper Box Arena in the Olympic Park in London, where, of course, they held the 2012 Olympics. I believe the boxing for the Olympics was held at that particular venue. World Cup of Pool is in Brentwood, home of Matchroom Multisport in June. We have the US Open in Atlantic City in October. Las Vegas hosts the Moscone Cup at the end of November, early December, and the European Open as well in Germany.
Yeah, a big schedule that's constantly growing, and Matchroom doing all they can to make it how it should be in the professional pool rankings. Much better, much squarer hit on the 1. I don't know if the 4 is going to get in the way. It looks like it is. Now it'll be interesting because Ko Ping Yee he jumps the ball as well as anyone, pretty much. And he's got a 3 ball over the side, so very tempting to go for this jump shot. He's looking at the rollout. And maybe he's a little stretched for the jump. I'm not sure.
Had quite an awkward stance, didn't he, when he pulled off his first jump shot of the match, the 6 ball in the second rack, but that didn't work out well because after that he himself. I think he's right there, Jeremy. I think he had to be sensible and keep things tight with momentum on his side.
Yeah, you don't want to give up an easy one. You want to make, no matter who it is, even your brother, earn it. Interesting, though, because, these guys are always together and they spar there all the time, right? So definitely discuss rollout situations and, really, I see more rollouts pass these days than I used to see. But you know as well as I do, feel you have to roll out extremely difficult. Well, I can't believe he went for that, though, to be honest with you. I didn't think he would give it back, but I thought he may choose the safety over the shot.
The impetuosity of comparative youth. The younger man deciding to go for it, and he could be made to pay for it.
Yeah, I always want to bet on the players when they take the shot on, of course, and I would have bet on Chung in that manner, but still, when you have an opportunity with the safety as well, watch out for the bump on the 9. Ooh, got away. Got the cue ball clear, so in a good spot to take a lead.
Now that camera angle was excellent. It illustrated exactly how tight these centre pockets are. You need to be accurate with that kind of shot, even though it might appear quite simple. It most certainly is not.
Yeah, really no room for error with the side pockets. Versus the corners are tough as well, but you have the rail to use with the corners. Kind of slide the ball in. Probably draws the cue ball here for the 8 on the left side.
Oh, what a lovely day it is in Gibraltar. A little piece of the UK here in southern Europe. Not very much like the weather in the UK though. Beautiful sunshine, lovely temperatures, and what a great location our venue for this Whirlpool Masters is.
Coping Yi to break, leading 5 racks to 4.
Yeah, I've been super impressed with this town of Gibraltar, the country of Gibraltar, I guess.
Don't know the answer, Jeremy. I'm just musing. How many Gibraltars would you be able to fit into Texas?
I don't know. Maybe just in the Dallas area you could fit quite a few. This is some 900 miles across, roughly 900 miles from north to south as well. Okay, again, just a little off with the cue ball. And it's not that Coping Yi relies on the cue ball. I mean, in a sense he does, but he's just always so good with it. He's, of course, an incredible shot maker. You can't be a world 9-ball and 10-ball champion without it. But whenever your cue ball's off, it can get to you mentally a little bit. Is all you're wondering why at times. Be interesting if his brother takes this shot on, or if he lays the cue ball behind the 7. You can see the score line. Crucial game here.
That was not a smooth stroke at all. And in the end, considering how bad the miss was, to leave hampered cueing was really fortunate.
Well, he's going for this. Yeah, that was difficult. And I would have had to think about that one being elevated. Position was automatic, but it was a pretty easy safety to lay the cue ball behind the brown 7. A little bit of elevation here.
Extension, please.
Just a reminder that it's a 30-second shot clock in operation in all here. But in each rack, both players have one 30-second extension, which Coping Yi has taken on this shot. But it does him no good. For the second visit to the table in succession, he misses the 4.
Yeah, much more difficult shot there, of course, but one that, again, you would figure him to make. And it just when it looked like Coping Yi was really starting to settle in.
Extension.
Extension, please.
Got a little out of line on that first 4 ball. He's got to go for this, I think. He may come across underneath the 5 and play short side on the 5, but I think he's still got to try and pocket this ball up in the corner. He's overcut it. And he's lost the cue.
Ball in hand.
Wow.
Start the clock, please.
I must say, Jeremy, these two are truly world-class players with an array of titles to their name. Consequently, I'm astonished by the standard of this match and astonished by the amount of mistakes we've witnessed. Simply astonished.
Yeah, I commented a few times at the World Pool Championships that I thought maybe you might see some struggles from the Chinese Taipei players just because they've been away from that heavy competition in the big events. But I didn't expect it here in Gibraltar. And I don't think either one of them, whoever goes on to win this, will give themselves a pass on this match, considering they're playing their brother. We've got to get back to the practice table and get some things fixed. And I'll be honest about it, Phil, that bowling never helped my pull stroke at all. I did it a couple times, and it cost me some money, that's for sure.
Coping Yi wins
A
the rack.
slightly anxious moment as the cue ball went a little close to that centre pocket, although it was never going to find gravity, was it? I think it's fair to say that Ko Pin-Yi deserves a lead. He's 6-4 ahead and he's on the hill, but both have been prone to error, multiple errors in fact. So rack 10 was all about a couple of misses on the 10 ball by Ko Pin-Yi, and yet even then, Jeremy, he still ended up winning the rack.
Yeah, and you know, I was thinking about these two drawing each other, and you know, with this performance by both these players, maybe a bit fortunate to draw each other that one of the family members is going to advance, right? If they play this kind of match against some other players in the event, maybe any of the players in the event, they might be both going home. So a bit unfortunate to draw each other, but again, the way they played so far,
Rack
maybe
11.
not the worst thing for one of them to advance to the final
break.
16.
Leading 6 racks to 4.
Ko Pin-Yi looking for a rarity in this contest, a break and run out to seal it.
Well, unless the 2 really blocks the pocket, and it did. Be hard not to take on this cross corner bank, excuse me. Maybe a 1-2 combo, but I doubt it. Let's see what this overhead gives us. You could probably creep the cue ball up behind the 7 pretty easily, putting the 1 on the top rail. You can use the 8 to kind of slow the cue ball down a little bit if you wanted to, you know, spin into the rail and kind of bump the 8. I kind of like going for the bank myself. Well, looks like he's going to play the safety behind the 7. And this shot was trying to use the 8. And that's going to be upsetting. Another thing that both these brothers do very, very well is contain the cue ball. Looks like he's coming off the right side of the 1. Trying to use the 7, 8. And he's caught this way thick. This is going to hurt Phil with the 7 over the side. Should be an easy kiss shot to get the run started. And that's, you know, this match is a match where you can tell a lot of uncomfort because it hasn't just been pocketing some balls on these 4-inch pockets. It's been safety errors as well.
Yes, in the world of cue sports, I think you were alluding to it earlier, Jeremy. On countless occasions you hear players say, yeah, he's a practice partner of mine or a really good pal, a roomie or whatever, and it's very difficult to play them. So multiply that emotion by 10 or whatever when you're playing your brother, and we must cut them some slack. But it has to be said, it's not been a high standard match. Far from it.
No, and whoever does win this match, which it looks like after that shot there, getting position on the forward, it should be Ko Pin-Yi, but they'll talk about it, trying to improve whichever brother's left in the event, but they definitely need some work on the practice tables. And really, uh-oh. Okay, he's all right. But really just their second event back, probably, besides the World Pool Championships.
And we all know it's day to day as well. The winner could come out tomorrow or whenever and come out all guns blazing. But from what I've seen and from what he's seen, David Al-Qaedi, their next opponent, will not be intimidated. I say their next opponent, almost certainly now. It's going to be Ko Pin-Yi.